Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are opening up a file on, well, one of the most fundamental topics out there, how to build a relationship that actually lasts. We're diving into a stack of specialized sources that offer a kind of blueprint for longevity. We're looking at 6 key strategies, but they're not focused on, the fear of failure.
No, not at all. It's about the active construction of joy and connection, real unshakable fidelity.
Exactly.
And I think it's important to clarify our mission right from the start. We're not talking about relationship management in some abstract way.
Right.
Our sources treat this as preventative architecture. It's full of concrete steps.
Right.
And the first, most crucial insight is defining the core threat.
Okay.
Because the sources confirm that relationships, they rarely end because of some big dramatic event. They wither. They wither from neglect.
Neglect creates a void.
Precisamente. The research is very clear on this.
Yeah.
Love triangles and emotional drift, they form because of unmet needs.
Unmet needs.
Yeah. One partner, or maybe both, are fundamentally not having their core requirements for affection, respect, or attention fulfilled inside the main relationship.
That sounds simple, but when you put it that way, the goal is just clarity. Figure out what needs are unmet and then fix them.
And the main structural failure that lets those needs fester is, tragically, a severe lack of effective communication.
Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. You are doing important work.
People just stop checking in.
They stop engaging.
Exactly. And that emotional distance, it creates the vacuum. So today, we're going to break down these 6 core strategies. We want to transform that abstract idea of just talk more into highly specific actions you can actually use.
Okay, let's start with the absolute foundation. Proactive communication. Our sources, they highlight this really common, really toxic habit that just guarantees failure.
The silent treatment.
Yeah, the combination of silence and emotional withdrawal.
It's so corrosive. The sources give these examples where the relationship just becomes a silent standoff. One person pulls away, kind of hoping the other will notice and chase them.
But that's not what happens, is it?
No, the research points to this retaliatory behavior that follows. It's like, if they're pulling away, well, I'm going to do the same thing to punish them.
And that just accelerates the drift until you're complete strangers living in the same house.
And the research doesn't let you off the hook for emotional cowardice either. Suppressing your own emotions out of fear, fear of a fight, fear of rejection.
Fear of rocking the boat.
That is identified as an equally harmful habit. You're basically choosing momentary peace over any kind of long-term stability.
So if you're ignoring the issues, the relationship is already in trouble.
It's already heading toward distress. What's so critical here is understanding the effort it takes. Communication is not a one-and-done deal, especially if one partner is already kind of closed off.
It takes persistent effort. I think we often quit after the first try at a tough conversation fails.
And that's where we find one of the most specific nuggets in all our sources. If you sense resentment, if you feel that misunderstanding, and your partner is resistant to opening up, you can't give up.
Not after the first or second try.
No. The sources state it may take up to 10 attempts to get a real discussion going with a partner who's closed off.
10 attempts. Wow.
That's the level of diligence required to break through that emotional armor.
Okay, but 10 attempts. That is a serious investment of patience, of emotional energy. I mean, I worry that trying 10 times just sounds like nagging or desperate.
That's an excellent point, and it's not about repeating the same arguments over and over.
Right.
The persistence is in the approach, not the demand. You have to approach each time calmly, with a neutral emotional tone, and you vary your tactics. If a sit-down talk fails, maybe try a note, or bring it up during a long car ride.
A low-stress environment.
Exactly. The point is showing up consistently and saying, I see this distance between us, and I'm committed to closing it because I love you.
So once you finally get that breakthrough, once you have their ear, what's the most powerful question? Our sources simplify it so beautifully.
How can I fulfill your needs?
Just ask the question. And then you have to truly listen to the answer, even if it's, hard to hear.
The sources, they really urge us to treat relationship distress with the same urgency we treat a critical task at work.
That's a great way to put it.
I mean, if you're maintaining a classic car, you don't ignore a weird rattle until the engine falls out. You stop. You inspect it. You fix it. If your partner's behavior changes, that's an error in the system. You have to take action immediately.
Okay, so let's move from fixing the foundation to actually building the shared life. That brings us to strategy 2, managing divergent interests. This feels like where most couples just drift apart.
Because they assume shared love automatically means shared hobbies.
Which is a dangerous assumption.
It is. The sources recommend this brilliant little organizational system. It's a list system. You create 3 categories for every activity in your life.
Okay, what are they?
1, no interest things you actively dislike. 2, neutral interest things you can tolerate. And 3, loved interests, the stuff you both genuinely enjoy.
I love that. It creates a clear negotiating table because you have to define what support even looks like in each of those categories.
Exactly. For the neutral stuff, maybe support just means showing up sometimes or just not getting in their way. But the real work is in that no interest column.
Yeah.
That's where strategic negotiation and this idea of loving sacrifice comes in.
Which feels so counterintuitive to our modern ideal of just, you do you.
It does. But the research says each partner should pick one most important activity from that no interest column where they want full involvement. And that participation has to be genuine. It has to be done out of love.
So if I hate snow, but my partner lives for skiing, I agree to learn. Or at least go on the ski weekend and be present. That's the one loving sacrifice.
That is the exact example the source gives. Learning to ski or attending some professional event you despise because it matters 100% to them.
But the key is that it isn't open-ended. It needs a plan.
A very specific negotiated schedule. When, how often, for how long. The example was a husband agrees to go shopping for 4 hours, but only once a month. It's defined, it's negotiated, it's temporary. That prevents resentment from building up.
And crucially, the sources provide the off-ramp for everything else. For all other activities in that no-interest column, partners have to find other people.
Friends, relatives, clubs, you are not responsible for fulfilling every single one of your partner's hobby needs.
Right. So the goal is twofold. Support their fulfillment, but also work together to find new shared interests.
Or revisit old ones, yeah.
Yeah.
You list things you'd like to do in life to find those new common goals. It keeps the relationship moving forward.
That balance, the one loving sacrifice but freedom for everything else, is brilliant. Now let's pivot into the emotional side of that balance. Strategies 3 and 4. The deep connection pillars. Trust and friendship.
They often get bundled together, but they really do deserve their own focus. Strategy 3 is all about establishing absolute trust by building honesty.
And it starts with listening without judgment.
Exactly. The sources remind us that when your partner brings you a problem, they often don't need advice. They don't need a solution. They just need a witness.
They just need you to validate their feelings, even if those feelings seem, irrational to you at that moment.
Yes. Because if they feel you don't care, or if you get defensive, or even worse, you criticize them, they will just stop turning to you. They will take that vulnerability somewhere else. And that's a quiet way infidelity can start.
So the sources define a strong relationship as a safe harbor. It has to be a place where both partners know they can share any problem without fear of judgment.
Which means you have to eliminate those toxic statements like, you are always like this, or, oh, you're just being ridiculous.
If they can't be completely honest with you, trust is just gone.
And that leads directly into strategy 4, learning to be friends again. We spend so much time on the serious transactional parts of life.
Bills, work, kids?
Yeah. We forget why we chose each other in the first place.
Friendship is the bedrock. And we think of support and open hearts, which are key. But the sources emphasize something lighter.
Laughter, humor, lightheartedness.
If you aren't laughing together, your relationship is in trouble.
It really is. Friendship is about enjoying the other person's company. If every conversation feels heavy or it's about a chore, you're missing that essential ingredient. You have to actively inject fun and inside jokes into the daily routine.
That emphasis on fun and connection, it sets up this really fascinating tension with strategy 6, the danger of control, because this is where it gets really counterintuitive.
Oh, absolutely. Trying to control your partner's every move, it just backfires. It is a major precursor to emotional drift.
The sources are so explicit about this. The more tightly you try to hold on, the more it slips away.
You're not protecting the relationship, you're suffocating it.
So what's the psychological mechanism there? Why does being over-controlling push a loving partner away?
Well, it removes their agency, and crucially, it removes trust. When you're constantly checking in, calling every 5 minutes, questioning every social thing they do,
Demanding passwords.
you are basically signaling, I do not trust you to manage yourself. And that is profoundly insulting to an adult. It turns the relationship from a partnership into a kind of custody.
Okay, so we've established that both partners need separate social lives, separate interests. But what do the sources say about handling that internal anxiety when they are out?
You manage your own anxiety, not their behavior. The core strategy is radical freedom and space.
So you avoid being overbearing or pressuring.
Yes, let them miss you. That is the powerful dynamic the research describes. If they feel pressured, they rush home out of obligation. But if they feel free, they look forward to rushing home, excited to tell you how much they missed you.
That voluntary emotional return is so much more valuable than coerced presence. You want them to choose you freely every single day.
Exactly. Autonomy allows desire to flourish. If you're constantly intertwined, there's nothing left to explore or anticipate.
Which brings us full circle to fighting monotony. And that connects directly to physical connection. So let's finish with strategies 1 and 5. Romance and intimacy.
Strategy 1 is the date strategy, and it's designed to fight that insidious creep of routine.
Monotony is a slow killer.
It is. The sources are clear. You have to schedule specific time together, like an appointment you cannot miss. And the effort you put into dates should mirror the effort you made when you were first trying to impress each other.
Think about the care and creativity from back then. That has to be maintained.
And the sources don't really allow for excuses. If you're in a tough season working hard, you must schedule romantic breaks to recharge and bring back those memories. It's an investment, not a luxury.
And this attention to detail matters everywhere, even at home. This is a very specific, actionable tip.
Look at your homeware. Get rid of anything torn, stained, or just, unsightly. Homeware must be neat, clean, and pleasant smelling.
The relationship deserves that level of respect. You have to maintain that attraction, even when you're just on the couch.
It's about creating an internal atmosphere of respect and desire, not just performing for the outside world. And that's supported by small things. Little gifts, planning surprises, just to show you're still thinking about them.
Which brings us to strategy 5, intimacy and variety. The sources emphasize that true connection requires open, honest conversations about physical intimacy.
And this isn't just about frequency. It's about engagement, desire, and mutual exploration.
The advice is very direct. You have to ask your partner about their desires and, crucially, share what excites you. If you're quiet about what you want, you're giving up agency.
And the sources give one of the most specific and, frankly, engaging examples to overcome the fear of trying new things. They suggest watching reviews of sex toys together and then discussing new experiences you'd like to try.
That's brilliant because it removes all the pressure. It makes exploration this shared, fun, collaborative project. It's not an awkward demand. It's a conversation based on curiosity.
It keeps the relationship dynamic and growing.
So, to synthesize these 6 powerful strategies, the core philosophy is really this. Fidelity is not a passive thing you expect. It requires active strategic maintenance.
It needs that proactive listening, those scheduled romantic breaks, and mutual respect for both shared connection and individual autonomy. You're building a relationship on clear, negotiated plans, not unspoken assumptions.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? It means that relationships, just like any valuable, complex project, need constant attention. They need a blueprint. You can't ignore the errors, and you can't let the design get stale.
You have to be specific about what you need and what you are willing to give.
And so we'll leave you with a final provocative thought to chew on. The source material requires partners to make small sacrifices for love, like participating in that one activity they dislike 100%. But at the same time, it demands they give each other maximal space and freedom. So for your own relationship, what is the precise, healthy balance point between making a loving compromise and maintaining your essential individual autonomy?
That essential tension is where the real growth happens. We'll leave you with that.
Until next time, keep digging deeper.
Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you want to overcome betrayal, break toxic cycles, take control of your relationship choices, read How to Deal with a Love Triangle. The link is below the video.